Welcome to Black Books Matter UK. Oh, well, thank you so much for agreeing to chat with us. So excited. We haven't interviewed an illustrator before. So
okay.
Yeah, we've done like authors and publishers and stuff, but we really try to, tap into all the different areas. Illustration, it's like I was saying, a really big part of storytelling. And at a young age, we're drawing pictures, blobs, scribbling before we even begin to write words.
Yeah.
What is like your core memory of when you started drawing, and when and how did it develop into something that you saw would become more of a career?
Well, I started drawing really, really early. I'm not too sure if it's drawing or just painting, because I can remember when my mum used to buy me these books and you just drop some water on it, the colours would just come out. And then that sort of got my imagination. And so all the way through my childhood, I loved anything to do with paints, anything to do with drawing, pencils, anything that had colour. And then when I got to school, and that was my best subject. I can even remember now when I was in like primary school, a lesson where I think it was around Christmas time, and there was this particular red that we had in the class with glitter. So it's red colour with glitter on it. And to this day, anytime I see it, it's like, something goes off. I can take them straight back. So I think it really started really, really when I was small. But then when I got to, we take our subjects in secondary school, art was my best subject, and I got best marks for art. So I just thought, yeah, I'd like to carry on and do that. And I had a dream once about, it's not a dream, but something that I thought I could do was like sit on a beach in the Caribbean somewhere and be sending pictures back to somebody.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of been with me, and now I could do that.
Yeah.
Can't afford to, but I could.
It's on the list of things that are going to happen.
Yeah. So I think it's always been with me, this love of art and wanting to do a career in it. So it's always been with me.
Love that. Yeah. And obviously, well done on the Jericho Prize. Inaugural winner.
I know. Yeah, wow.
It would be great to hear a little bit more of like the journey with Jericho Prize, like kind of straight from the beginning in terms of how you got your idea together that you wanted to put forward for the prize in particular, kind of into the shortlisting process as well.
Yeah, right. So when the Jericho Prize came out, because to me it's sort of a blur, because I've been on this journey, and sometimes I stop and think, well, how did I start? How did I get through? But I think initially, when I heard the Jericho Prize was up, I thought, yes, I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna put something in. I'd got this story that I'd written before, and it contained the same characters: Winston, who was the little boy, and his grandfather. And the way that story started was, I thought, yeah, I want a little boy, because there are not many little boys in stories.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of girls. I draw girls in my artwork. So I thought it's going to be a little boy. Winston is the name of someone in my family, so I thought, that would be a good one. And then I thought, what do we Caribbean people, we people of colour, what do we like? And it's usually food or music.
Yeah.
You go to a party and the music is thumping and the food is really important. So it's one of those things. And I thought, I love music, so I always listen to music while I'm drawing. So I thought it's going to be music. And then the ideas started to roll then. And so I thought, I didn't know my grandfather. So I thought, be a good character to sort of make this relationship out of? So it's just little bits of things that are floating around in my mind that started the story. And then I sat down and I think I just raced through and I wrote it. Really, that you listen to authors and they say you've got to get that draft out.
Yeah.
I can see why you've got to, because I'm the type of person that I'll lose my thread. I'll start a story and then I'll sort of think, oh, this is good enough. It's not, nobody's going to want to read that. And then I stop. So for this one, I wrote it all the way out. So I'd got all the bones of it. And then from then on, I thought, okay, I'll tweak and I'll tweak and I'll tweak. And I entered it into, it's not a competition. It was something was opened by one of the publishers for underrepresented authors. And that came back and I was longlisted this story. And I thought, oh, okay. But it didn't go any further than being longlisted. So I thought, okay. And the Jericho Prize came not very long after that. So I thought, I'm going to enter it into Jericho. So I tweaked it again. And then I put it in. And then, well, lo and behold, I was longlisted. I thought, okay, probably won't get any further than this because I was longlisted before. And then when the numbers came out for shortlist, I was on the shortlist. And I thought, okay, still not believing that I'd got anything really special. And then on the night when it was announced, I was completely flabbergasted. I didn't think that it would make it that far. But I am happy that it did. Yeah. So it's like a pleasant surprise, and all the way through, I didn't really think that I was going to get, much further than that point of long list or short list. But I'm so happy I did get through all the way. It's given me more confidence now to, my writing.
I love that, and that's really interesting. So there's obviously the illustrating part, and that's something, as an illustrator, that's something you've been and embodied like your whole life, from how you from a very young age. Was writing the text for this a new experience for you, or had you explored writing alongside the images that you painted?
Yeah, because I used to write really early on, and then when I did my course at uni, part of it you had to do a dummy book. So then, obviously, that required a story. So I'd written a story for part of my course, and I'd always got it in the back of my mind that I could possibly write something. Because what I used to do, I used to go down to my local library and I'd take out lots of books, and I'd flip through them, look at the illustrations, but then always the stories always sort of crept in, and I read those. So there's always something that thought, okay, have a go at this, and then, I don't know, sort of crept up on me that I wanted to be a writer. Yeah. In addition to being an illustrator, and then that became the dream to have an author illustrated book. And again, I had no confidence that I could, first of all, get into the world of illustration, let alone think about and actually write something that was accepted or would win a prize. So all the way along, it's been like one surprise after the other. So I am an example of somebody that wants to do, they've got a little bit of an idea that they might want to do it, and it actually turns out. And I think it's possibly because I sort of push myself a bit. Yeah. I don't tend to sort of sit back and think, okay, I didn't make it that time, I'm not going to try again. I'm always trying. If it doesn't work and somebody comes back and says, okay, Diane, that's, it's okay, but it's not that good. That is my driving force to do something better. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm always pushing that myself to go that one better. So yeah, I've always wanted to sort of write, but I didn't know that I could.
I love that. And as well, like I was saying before, we try and work with young people in all the different parts of the industry that they can get into. And it's such a great example that if you're excited by more than one part of it, you can get into more than one part of it. You don't have to put yourself in a box. I think that's creatives in general, no matter what kind of creative industry you come from. Our hands are always diving in little pots because it's like purely
Yeah, it is, because naturally as a creative, you want to learn about different things that you don't know about. It's like the other thing that I was interested in was animation. And I've not done a course in animation, but it's still there. And I'm thinking one day I want to do, you always have something that you want to do. And as I say, illustration was my first love, drawing, painting. And I achieved that. And I thought, and then the next goal is, it's a subliminal thing. You think you've done it, and then you want to do that other thing. So then writing's the next thing. And then perhaps when I've done that, and if that's successful, I'll go and do the other thing, which is probably animation. So I'm always just pushing myself just that little bit further in my thought process.
Yeah,
and I think that's a lesson to people starting out. If you're starting out, you think I can only do one thing. You can't. You can do more than one thing, and it's just finding that stone to leap off to find that other thing. So don't shut yourself down.
Yeah,
the world is there. Yeah.
And you were saying, and even about like not shutting yourself down, and you mentioned especially when someone maybe gives feedback or you send something in.
Yeah.
A lot of the time as an artist, your art is also your love and your passion, but when it becomes your career,
there
are deadlines, and and it's a beautiful thing when you can kind of have it's almost like, I sometimes see it as like a lifestyle. It's doesn't feel so much like a career because you love it so much, but it's a lifestyle. But there's still deadlines and pressure and challenges. So it's finding creative ways to induce flow almost. So what do you think is maybe some advice, or maybe what you do to kind of get into that creative mindset, get into that flow when you have outside pressure?
Right. I've been lucky. I don't really have that much, surrounding me that pressurizes me. The odd thing or two, but generally, you have to. It's not an easy job. It looks okay from the outside, but there are a lot of hours that I put in. I'm sure that can be said for all the other illustrators that do, even writers that do. You're doing something else, but your mind's on, what am I going to do next? For me, I just work through it. And if I get a block, say for my illustration stuff, I'll probably sit and look at other people's work and think, how did they do that? What's new? What's coming out? How can I make mine better? And then one idea will come up, and it probably won't be the one that I go with. It'll probably be the one after that or the one after that. So I just try things out. And I suppose it's the same with writers. If they write a verse, if they're poets or whatever, and that doesn't work, that'll springboard onto another idea. And then that's how it goes. And that's how we sort of pick up the creativity of it, and how to keep the juices flowing. Don't just stop on one idea. Explore others while you think you've got a creative block. You probably haven't. You just need to explore other avenues. Look at side things. So if you're drawing a person and you can't do it right, draw an animal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then that will bring you back to drawing the thing that you wanted to draw in the first place. Just keep it moving.
Yeah, keep moving. Don't get stuck in one place.
Yeah.
I saw you said before that diversity is your driving force.
Yeah.
What kinds of stories do you think maybe are missing at large that feature Black and brown children? And what do you hope your work can do for children from the global majority? And I know you touched on it already in saying you picked a boy.
Yeah.
You yourself, you drew girls, but then maybe about the characters, but then the stories that the characters are going on. What do you think is missing at the moment?
Yeah. But at the moment, what I'd really like to do with it is fairy tales. Do you know how, as you were growing up, fairy tales are always Caucasian children, and I don't know if the writer, mainly because the writers are Caucasian.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I would like a set of fairy tales, really nice, with just a black protagonist, black, white, or whatever, because we don't see that very often. And I did touch on it in my picture in Hey You, that we did with Dapo, you know, the one that won the Nibbies Award. And within my picture, I did like Goldilocks and the three bears, and the girl was a black girl. So I'd like to do more of that, you know. I don't know if there are writers out there that are coming up with new fairy tales. That'd be a way to start. But alternatively, let's just convert a few that are out there already. You know, that so little girls and boys can see themselves as probably Alice going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Nice. Obviously not finding the things that she found, but something else. It could be something else that's related to the Black diaspora. It's just that, mixing things up in terms of placing a character that is not Caucasian in a situation or a story that was previously thought of as a white protagonist and a white author. I'd like that to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know, like those are just the kind of tales that young children enjoy. It's magical, and it gets them curious. It gets them thinking that, you know, not having those blocks that they can't do something, because, you know, there's opportunity and curiosity. I love fairy tales as well. I will buy the first copy when you do a fairy tale.
Brilliant.
So we end all of our interviews with our magic 3 questions. And the first one is, what are 3 things you can't sit down without to draw or write? You know, it can be things in the space. It doesn't have to just be physical, you know.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of my desk now, which is a mess at the moment. So I always have the radio on, or music of some sort. So today I didn't have the radio on, but I had my I think call it MP3 player with my Caribbean music on. So I had that. I work with a tablet and a pen and an iPad. So I've got to have the iPad because that's like my sketch.
Nice.
And sometimes I used to say the printer, but that's gone less active now. I think so my radio and my music and my iPad, those 3 things.
Do you have the radio on and listen to music at the same time?
And do that.
You said radio and music is separate things.
It's 2 separate things, okay.
No, you said it as that. So what was the third? Because you said music, radio, and then you said your iPad. Yeah,
but they're on the same. My list of music is on my MP3.
Yeah.
My iPad is like I've got the ability to sketch on it. I've got Procreate on it, and so I can draw on it. But I don't listen to my music on there.
Oh no, I thought you said radio and music. So I was like, do you have like the news playing on the radio and listen to music at the same time?
No. So either one or the other, music on the radio or my iPad or my MP3 player. But music always there.
What's your third one then? That's 2. Maybe a beverage of choice. Do you always is there
sometimes I do. Probably a bottle of water. You know,
hydrated.
I have there's always one there. Yeah.
Stay focused. Love that.
Yeah.
Second question is, what are your favorite picture books, all-time favorite picture books, old and new?
People always ask me this. When I was growing up, I tell you, we didn't have a lot of picture books in the house, simply because of the economics of buying picture books. So I love pictures of any sort. I can remember a story that I loved when I was at school, and that was Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah.
Because I could imagine him doing the things that he did within that story, you know, with the princess and stuff. So I that was my sort of favourite story. I can always remember that. And also, I'm going off now. It's this is the second one. And I think it's because I can picture the music of Prokofiev with Peter and the Wolf. Don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
And I was listening to that one day in school, and it's just like, it blows you away, because I can imagine the wolf. I can imagine, and I don't know if that's my creative mind or my artistic mind, but I can see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's always been a favourite as well.
Love that. And that kind of just shows the kind of like link between like all kinds of storytelling, whether it's music or writing or drawing or filmmaking. But like, music is a
strong one.
I always think music's a bit of like a universal language as well.
Yes, it is. It's because I listen to all sorts of music, not just pop music or R&B. I listen to classical as well. So I get the whole gamut. I love all genres of music. So
love that. Our third and final of our magic 3 is a finish the sentence. So the start of the sentence is, Black books matter because ...
Children need to see themselves in books.
Love that. No,
that's all. Yeah. All children need to see themselves in books, I should say, because it's thinking about it, it's just like, why isn't this the norm? The children of colour can relate to a picture book, for instance, because we all read them. They're part of the school curriculum now. We should all be able to pick a book up and say, look, there's a black protagonist in there, and in 10 years time, 20 years, 100 years, a black child should come out and say, my favourite black person should say, my favourite book was, and it's a book by a black author and a black illustrator, and that that'd be brilliant. I won't be able to see it and hear it, but it'd be nice to know that it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true, because I just sometimes think like, even like, so where I grew up, in like the school that I went to, like primary school, it was so mixed. Like, it was so mixed. So my environment is very multicultural, very black, very Asian. But then the books aren't reflective, and you'd think, different areas would mirror each other, because that's representation, isn't it?
Yes. But it never happens. And I really loved history when I was growing up and going through the school system. And that is another area that, wasn't actually touched much on, Black history. Yeah. So I'm so glad David Sugar's got his books out, and there are a lot more coming up. Because I would have loved to have read about, people of colour doing, and there are lots of them that have done brilliant things, like created things, invented things, but we were never taught. So if I can change that a little bit of history with my artwork and the things that I write, then we have moved a step forward.
Oh, thank you so much, Diane. Thank you so much. I know it's late as well, so thank you for giving up time to speak.
Yeah, no problem. I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for asking.
No, honestly, it's so good. And it's just, because obviously Jericho Prize second round is happening, and it's just picture books this time. Yes,
that'd be amazing. I can't wait to see who eventually wins this one, because the prize is so much better. It's so much more inviting, and everybody who has a nugget of an idea should just get writing, because this is an opportunity. It's given me renewed confidence in my writing. So just imagine the next person who's probably better than me at writing has got a history of lots of stories.
Different at writing. Everyone's good at what they do. Different to you, not better than you. Different.
It's such a fantastic opportunity that it'd be stupid to miss it. You know. So I wish everybody good luck to all the people that are going to reply.
Amazing. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Brilliant. Take care.